office.
All right, we're starting. Hello,
Hi.
welcome to the Soul's Kitchen podcast. I'm Lisa Wilby, and I'm here with Lisa Ann Ross, who is artistic producer of Solo Chicken Productions. Did I get that right, Lisa?
You got it, Lisa. Lisa,
Awesome,
Lisa.
Lisa. Yeah, so many Lisa jokes. So, welcome, Lisa. Thank you so much for being on the podcast with me.
Thanks for having me, Lisa.
Well,
It's really nice to be asked.
yeah, well, I just want to have conversations with people like yourself who are, in my view, living their soul's desire or purpose, and you are an artist. So I want to just find out all about you, how you came to be. Who are you, Lisa Ann Ross?
Oh no,
Oh
I have to
no!
reveal myself. Oh no.
Reveal, yes, and how you started your production company and all of that. And also, we talked about this just a little bit before, but it used to be Solo Chicken Co-op or Coop,
The
which
coop,
is
yeah.
Coop. But I always wondered if it was co-op, which is clever.
Kind of
Just
works both ways. It's
right.
a
Yeah, yeah,
come
yeah.
do it
Coop,
was an emerging
yeah.
artist initiative,
Emerging
so you could come
artist.
do
Okay.
an artist, co-op with us. But no, the coop is no longer. I started that with the amazing Lysandra Dodson, who you know so well, which is
Yes,
actually, do you want to know something, Lisa?
I do.
Uh,
I want to know it
I
all.
think the first night I met you was at your beautiful restaurant,
Okay.
the Cedar
See the
Tree.
tree.
Yeah, and I went out for a date with Lysandra Dodson. We'd been
Oh,
connected. I had just moved here. I, in fact, had just had my second baby. He
okay.
popped out like a month before, and this was my first like foray into the back into the adult world. And I went for a date
Okay.
to your restaurant, and I met you
Well,
that night.
oh, nice.
Lysandra introduced me to you, and that
Yes.
was the first time Lysandra and I met, and we
Oh,
fell in
nice.
love, and then
And you're
started doing a
long.
lot of creative
Yes.
things together.
Oh,
And
that is so cool.
yeah, so you in
Okay.
fact are part of our origin story.
Well, I really like that. Thank you.
Yeah, I had a lamb burger, I remember. It
Lamb
was
must have
so
been with the burger battle because we did do a lamb burger and yeah, lamb burgers are good.
was a great Lisa, great restaurant. Um,
So you had a conversation with Lysandra, who's also very talented and in her own right, that
mhm.
choreographer, contemporary dance choreographer, and other things like you are. So many things. It's hard to slap a
So
title on you there, Lisa.
I'm a wiggler. I'm a wiggler. Yeah.
You're
Well,
a
so
wiggler.
yeah,
I like
so
that.
Lysandra and I started talking, and we ended up working together at the Charlotte Street Arts Center first. She became the executive director and then called me, was like, please come and work with me. So I did, and we worked together there. And then we both left, and one of the things I had already started Solo Chicken way back in
Okay.
2004, and it was really, as the title says, as the
Yes.
name belies, it was a solo project because
Right.
I had been in Toronto, um, working with a bunch of clowns, running
Mm,
a guerrilla clown space called Clown
okay.
Hall. It was
Okay.
like in an old industrial building back before all that stuff got gentrified and turned into bazillion dollar condos
Mm,
and like fancy coffee shops.
hmm.
So I had a dirty loft filled with pigeon poop and a very flammable lighting board. And
Mm.
me and a bunch of other kooky clowns made a whole bunch of wacky work together. But let me tell you, after 4 years of that, you want to go solo because I was like,
Right.
that's enough of that.
That's
I think
crazy.
so.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going solo. And I was like, solo. And then I was like, what's funny? Chickens are funny. And then I was like, Solo Chicken Productions. There you go. And so that's where
Right.
the name came from.
Cool.
And
So
so I'd
cool.
started it a long time ago, but
Right.
then moved here
Yes.
in 2010. And 5 years later, Dodson and I decided to launch the Coop together. So
Right.
I already had registered charity status and a board and all
Mm.
those things. So
Okay.
Dodson was like, well, why don't we just put it under the wing, wink, wink, of
Mhm.
Solo Chicken? And the Coop was,
Mhm.
it was a way for us to train artists here
Right.
and not have to hire artists from Toronto and further afield because we felt like we wanted to spend, like when we got grants and we were working on projects, we didn't want to spend that money on people
Right.
from away. We wanted to be able to give it to local artists. And so but we needed to train them because we were doing contemporary dance and physical theater, and there wasn't yet that
Mhm.
much, I guess, knowledge and experience in that. So that's when we started the coop together. And we ran it together until 2020 when Dodson decided, she needed to move on to something new. And now she's
Mhm.
working at the Playhouse, booking
Yeah,
all the cool shows
all the
for all
shows.
the people in Fredericton to
Yeah,
see.
that's very cool.
She's killing it. Yeah.
Yeah, she is killing it. Really. Yeah. So tell me, like, I've taken a couple of your courses. So tell us, like, what we could do at the Solo Chicken
Oh, what can you
Productions.
do at the Solo Chicken?
Yeah.
Uh, really, it was after. So it's always been a theater company. I'm a theater artist.
Right.
And in the beginning, the company was really just a vehicle for my shows. So when I made solo shows or shows with other people, um, you get grants, you write
Mhm.
grants, and you get grants from different funding
Mhm.
bodies. And it's good for all those aspiring artists out there. It is good to form a company that is separate from yourself.
Mhm.
It's good for a lot of different reasons, but financial reasons, it's good to keep the books separate.
Right.
Also, you can access when you have a company as opposed to an individual, you can
Mhm.
access different kinds of funding.
Okay.
And we are a registered charity, so we can also access like foundation funding and
Mm.
charitable funding, basically. So, so yeah, in the beginning, it was just a
Mhm.
company that I ran my
Mhm.
shows through, and I did that from 2004 to 2012, I would say.
Mhm.
And then when I moved here, that's when I got a board and made it a registered charity, and we ran a bunch of community arts projects.
Mhm.
So I have always for many years, I guess maybe since my late 20s, I discovered that I really love professional. Oh, it's not just a podcast. People can see me making the bunny ears.
Yes, yeah. It is
There's the
visual
word
too.
professional is pretty loaded. And
Yeah.
I think I used to, when you're a young emerging artist, you can't wait for people to think of you as professional. But the older I get, the more I'd like to just push that word aside because
Okay.
I think it's filled with a lot of hierarchy and
Mhm.
um, inequality and barriers. And I think that while I really believe that artists should be paid at
Mhm.
industry standards for their work, I
Mhm.
also believe that to be a professional artist, like who gets to
What does that
decide?
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I started doing a lot of what you might call community arts work.
Mhm.
So I would do professional work. I would get hired by people to do shows, or I'd make
Mhm.
my own shows. But then I would also work with a group of people, helping them to tell their story. And I discovered quite
Mm.
early on that I really love that. And I might even be better at that than acting,
Mm.
performing. And
Okay.
it might be my special superpower. So
Hmm.
I really,
Yeah.
when I was young, I was like, I want to be a professional actor. I want to be a Stratford. I want to do the Shakespeare, but I'm fine. I'm okay, Lisa. Not bad. If you
You're
saw,
doing your own Shakespeare. You're
yeah,
doing the yeah.
exactly. If you
Yeah.
saw me on stage, you'd be like, she is totally good, but you wouldn't be like,
I
wow. But I think so. So eventually, I was like, after many years of like having an agent and trying to become the famous Canadian actor, you need to look inside and go like, what are your gifts?
right.
What are the things that like I always knew that I needed to be in the world of theater. I love it so much. I love all the parts of
So
it.
can you just give us an age, like, not to pinpoint it, but,
Oh,
like, when
from
you say you just always knew, how did you know?
Well, I mean, I think I did my first show in grade 3.
Grade 3.
Like,
Okay.
I was in the Pied Piper.
Alright.
I did get
Yeah.
mononucleosis and could
Oh.
not complete the role, but I started
Oh my
in
god.
grade 3. I got
Yes.
cast. Normally, they didn't cast grade 3s, but they only used to do
They
5 and 6, but I was so amazing. They put me on.
Yes,
Then I
that's
got super
amazing.
sick and couldn't do it. So I always did
You
like,
just
I
always
always
love
did
it.
school plays, and I'm not a sporty person.
Mhm.
I'm a spelling bee,
Right. Yeah, we
theater.
discovered we're both going to CrossFit,
Oh, yeah.
so maybe a little
Now
bit
I'm more
sporty.
athletic than I thought,
Yeah,
actually.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All
I
right.
do like CrossFit. It's a
Yeah.
lot. It's very theatrical, I think.
It is. It's a lot of
Right?
jumping and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry. Back to you.
No, no,
Sorry.
no. This is like the Smartless podcast. We just have a regular
Yes,
conversation.
absolutely. That's what I want. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, it's so good.
Um, so
Uh,
how did you so you were always in the plays and
I
then
was in
but how
plays.
did you make it your profession? Because a lot of people, myself included, I have, you have talents, but you don't how do you make it into your life's work?
Yeah, that's a I did a I actually um, ArtsLink asked me to speak with their catapult artists in
Mhm.
February. That is the question, like the girl
Ah,
was asking, like,
okay.
how have you made a life? How,
Mhm.
and I kind of stumble on that question because I don't know
Okay.
if there is a clear answer. I think it is a lifetime of not accepting no.
Mhm.
And so it might be a combination of like foolishness and tenacity.
Well, yeah, all of it. Not
Yeah,
foolishness, but just well, when you say you're a fool in love, I
a
must
fool
must
in
be a
love, yes.
love,
You
you
definitely
know.
don't wanna do it if you know if there's even an inkling that there's something else that you could do.
Mhm.
I feel like that has always, I know that sounds so cliche, but it's not a good choice. Like, a life in the arts is not necessarily a good choice because it's very hard, and
Yeah.
the work is extremely fulfilling and uh, delightful, and I don't tire of the work itself, but the the getting there and even the being there still is very hard,
Mm.
because we don't live in a society that really values the arts, so we are not
Right.
properly for our time, and so while I am very lucky to make a living from my art, it's like not a friend of mine whose husband is a doctor said, "You work way more than my husband, and
Right.
you make like a tenth of what he makes." I'm like, "That's
Right.
that's
That's
good."
right on.
Yeah, which is,
Yeah.
I'm really glad we have doctors, and I
Oh,
respect,
yeah, definitely.
and I'm not saying that artists should be paid like doctors even, but it is just what it is. So I don't know what
Yeah.
the answer is necessarily. It could be just maybe a little more funding from the government would be helpful, but
Well, maybe, and maybe we will reach some you never know who's gonna watch this, Lisa. You never know.
Susan Holt, let's yeah. Well, they are putting, actually, Susan Holt's government is putting more money into the arts. They just,
Good.
yeah, they
That's
just
great.
announced that, so that's really
That's
exciting.
awesome.
So anyway, that wasn't a very fun answer to the
No,
question.
but I mean, it fulfills you obviously. So, in a way that this is, yes, you work hard, but I think that's what they say when you work hard, but you do it because you love it. It doesn't feel like work. And I'm sure it does feel like work for you. I'm not saying it's not work, but, there is something there that drives you.
Yes, there are
Yeah.
so many beautiful moments that are like, on a weekly basis, I get to do things that are so joyous and
Mm,
delightful. So
that's
while there's
amazing.
plenty of crap that is like just like everybody else's job, I am in an ongoing war with QuickBooks, and I want to strangle everyone
Mm,
there because it's, and I
okay.
do accounting, I do T4s,
You
I
do all of that.
write
Yeah.
constant grants, I organize things. I spent a whole bunch, I spend time like putting out the garbage and sweeping, like I
Mm,
do all those
mhm.
things too. But
Yeah.
then I also have these amazing moments where well, this week, can I tell you what we did
Yeah.
this week? Okay,
This week,
so
and then maybe tell us the week. This is gonna be on March, oh my gosh, the 30th. We're gonna post this.
Oh,
So
so
if you
what's
have
going on
anything
there?
coming up after that,
Well,
but
I'll do a promo. I've got a
you do a
couple things.
promo,
Yeah,
definitely.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of a promo. So you know about the Spirit Project.
Yes.
Yeah. So for the last 6 years, we've been so lucky to be working. We formed a relationship with L'Arche. So for your listeners who might not know what
Yeah.
L'Arche is an international organization whose mandate is to make known the gifts of adults with intellectual disabilities.
That's amazing.
It's a
Okay.
great right, that's a good mandate.
Mhm.
So we partnered. I happen to have a couple friends who were on the L'Arche board, and in 2000, I think 2018, they approached me and said, "Do you think we don't have a lot of programming going on right now, and we'd really love to create some arts programming for our core members. Do you think you'd be interested?" And so I sort of got to know the L'Arche mission, and I was like, "Is it compatible with our mission?" And it felt right and it felt
Mhm.
good. So we designed a year of workshops. So it's the wonderful thing about L'Arche is that their programming is not about doing things for people with intellectual and physical disabilities. It's about building communities. So it's about creating
Right.
spaces where people can come together and
Mm.
share their gifts with each other, essentially. So that to me is what community arts practice is. It's the
Mm.
magic of that. It's you create a vessel, a container where people can come and like share their stories, share their voices, build friendships, learn new skills, share their
Mm.
existing skills with
Mhm.
others. um, I'm really interested in community spaces that create those opportunities.
Right.
And that's for me the community arts aspect of my work. So we said, yeah, let's run a year. So we did a year of workshops. We did improv with Jean Michel, who you have worked
Mhm.
with.
Mhm.
We did art with Angela Black from Open Your Art. She's like, a Fredericton Illuminati. She's like
Okay.
also like she's an amazing artist who has a beautiful studio, but the same ideals, very much like let's empower people to like
Mm. I
uncover
love
the
that.
yeah, she's awesome. We did dance with Lysandra Dodson.
Oh, I missed that one.
It was so good. It was a great year. So the year finished, and I said, I think we're just getting started. I think we need to
Mhm.
keep this party
Keep
going.
that going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right in the middle of the pandemic be damned, we said,
Mhm.
let's make a show. So we made our first show, which was called We Are Luminous.
Mm.
We really haven't looked back since then. So every
Right.
Wednesday, a group of people meet at the Charlotte Street Arts Center for 2 hours. We have snack, we hang out, and we make stuff. Basically, we have fun. And after 6 years, we have all become friends. We know each other.
Right.
We love and know each other. So we are working on a musical called Magic
Oh,
Beans, the musical. Mhm.
love it. Magic means, sorry.
Magic Beans.
Beans. Okay,
Magic
magic beans. Got it.
Beans,
Ooh, I
yeah.
love that. Yeah.
It is about, selfish princesses who are not really selfish. They just feel confined by the
Mm.
roles that they have to fulfill as princesses. They just wanna eat hot dogs and wear ripped jeans, but no, they're supposed to get married. There's also there's a bunch of pirates who appear to
Mm.
lack courage, but they don't really lack courage. They just
Okay.
have a strong moral compass and don't like pillaging. So
Okay.
they're gonna
This
find
sounds
their way. And then there's a group of rude ballroom dancing dogs who have used to have the greatest ballroom dancing studio in the land, but their doggy nature had them snipping and biting at the heels of their customers. So right now they have no customers. They're home alone watching So You Think You Can Dance Canada. So this is
right.
where our epic begins. So we've been working on this together for almost 2 years. Kylie
Wow.
Fox, the one and
Yes.
only,
The
is our
singer.
composer
Yeah.
and has worked with us to write all of our songs. And we are currently so this is the longest winded
No,
story.
I love it. This is great.
I'm like,
Love it. Keep
I get
going.
time. What did you do this week? I'll tell you in 25 minutes. Um, on Wednesday, we Strike Pictures, who are amazing filmmakers based in Fredericton. They just did their first feature film, which was at TIFF in September. Speaking of people
Ah,
following their passion, you should talk
okay.
to
I'm
this
going to talk to them. I'm just wrote that down. So strike.
stellar I am madly in love with Strike Pictures.
Okay.
They're a little younger than we are. They're in their 30s. But they are
Okay.
professionals who, when they're in the room with you, you know they it's like they just get the vibe.
Wow.
They have done a bunch of work with us in Spirit Project. And
Okay.
everything they've created for us, because at Spirit Project for us, the goal is first and foremost, everything we make, we want it to be a way for audiences to get to experience the gifts of our
Mm,
artists, to see them
okay.
as whole people, to see them as talented and musical and hilarious and
Mhm.
creative and brilliant. So all of the artists we work with, we are looking for extra special people who can, it's not about Strike or Kylie or me. It's about
Mhm.
how can we use our gifts to translate the magic we get from our Spirit Project artists
Mhm.
into a product that we share. So we're making these films with Strike. So we had a film set on Wednesday.
Amazing. Yes.
Project artist call time, hair, makeup, up on stage with the lights, filming, and it like this is the greatest day. I just like those are the days,
Oh,
Lisa, where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so lucky. This
yeah.
is so
That's awesome.
cool. And the Spirit Project artists were just blowing my mind with how funny,
Mm.
professional, awesome, like, it was the
Yeah.
best day. Best
Oh,
day
that's
ever.
awesome.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think if I went back and told my 17-year-old self who was applying to theater school that this is what I'd be doing when I was 50, that
Right.
I would, like, understand even what this was, but
Mm.
it is cool that I have ended up here getting to do this. So,
Right.
that is a super long-winded way of telling you.
No, well, you just no, it's amazing. You just said everything that I think anyone would want to hear about, like when you were 17, ending up here, the journey you've taken, all of the I love listening to your amazing all the words you use, so descriptive, like it's great. I love it. So, yeah, and I'm so happy that you get to experience those days that,
Yeah.
for all of the hard work, and then you have a day like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very those are the days where I go, "Oh, yeah, I am really lucky," like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Well, you work hard for it,
I
but
work
yeah, if
hard
you
for
wanna
it.
say lucky,
Yes.
that's okay.
I
Yeah.
didn't fall into this, like, for
No, you
sure.
work yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
but it feels
So
good.
you did the filming, so what's coming up? Like, are we gonna be able to see those films
Yes.
or yeah.
So in July at the Playhouse, we're going to be
Mm,
at the Playhouse, which
cool.
our artists are very excited about that. Their families are really excited. I think it is, to me, one of another sort of one of my visions with Spirit Project is that I think it is really important for everyone to have the opportunity to make beautiful things, to be in
Mm,
beautiful things,
mm.
and for the community to see each other doing
Mhm.
beautiful things. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yes, I do.
there there is something magical about a crappy crafts grade 3 or,
I I agree.
I am not saying that that is not awesome, but there is also a place to go to our biggest theater with our best lights, our biggest
Mhm.
projector, and to see the Spirit Project artists performing a beautiful work on that stage. Like, I think it's an opportunity to honor all of their hard work and for audiences to really get to experience the full breadth of, like,
Right.
talent of this group of people. So, July
2020 where are
2025.
we? 2025, yep. I'm
25. Let me bring up my
just
calendar here
running
for
the calendar
July
in my head there. Yeah.
Sunday, July 13th, Monday, July 14th, and Tuesday, July 15th. We're at the Playhouse, and then we're going on tour to
No.
Sackville. And
Mhm.
on Thursday, July 17th, we'll be at the with Marshlight Theater in Sackville. And
Okay.
everybody goes to Sackville. It's a super cute spot. It's
Okay.
nice downtown, very nice coffee shop.
It's an artsy town, I
Artsy
think,
town.
Sackville, yeah.
Get my daughter to go there to
Oh,
Mount A. We did a
yeah.
Mount A tour. She's into it. Let's
That's
go.
cool, that's cool. That was another question actually. I know you have a couple of children and you don't have to talk about them if you don't want to, but are any of them following in your footsteps?
They both think theater. No,
No.
they
Mom, do they think mama is crazy?
I think they don't
No,
even like right
no.
now, like your
I
parents,
know.
you're like, they don't care what your parents do.
Yeah,
You
that's true.
think they have no idea how cool we are, Lisa.
I know. Well, they'll figure it out someday.
Figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I put them both in TNB. Uh,
Okay.
Isis, it was definitely not for her. Ezra definitely showed some potential, but got bummed out when he didn't get the lead right away.
Oh, okay,
Mouthing
yeah.
the words of the lead, like, do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
He was like,
Yeah.
"Let's go, let's go." So
Yeah.
he's competitive, so theater was not for him. But my daughter
Okay.
is an incredible visual artist, and I have
That's
no idea
amazing.
where that came from because my visual art skills it peaked at grade 5, and then
Okay.
still
Well,
in stick
other
figures.
skills emerged
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you, for sure. Oh
bubble
my goodness.
covers, so that's where I'm at still. Like, yeah, she's a beautiful visual artist.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, Lisa, I mean, I've taken part in some of the offerings that you've had at Solo Chicken Productions, and they've been amazing. So, are there more of those happening, and how can people find out about them?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, well, I was gonna go back and say, like,
Yeah.
after Dodson,
Okay.
Lysandra, decided to move on to her
Mhm.
amazing job at the Playhouse, we decided, Lysandra and I thought that we would ask one of our former Coop artists,
Mhm.
Jean-Michel Cliche,
Mhm.
if he would be interested in coming on and joining the company. Um, so he joined like in a he's been performing with us since
Mhm.
2015, but he came on in a leadership role in 2020. And I
Okay.
have to say, when he joined, that's when I think the structure of the company as it is now really
Mhm.
began to crystallize.
Okay.
So while before there was always a clear focus on creation and community, and sometimes we offered workshops,
Mhm.
but you know it was sort of more in service of what do our artists need in this moment and which cool person might be coming through town. When Jean joined, we I'll say he really worked to make our training like a big part of what the company does. And as you know, because you've taken improv with Jean
Mhm.
Michel,
Mhm.
he's got this amazing skill. He can
Mhm.
teach. He's such a good improviser and such a good improv
He
teacher.
is. He
Yeah,
is.
that really is one of his special gifts. Like, he makes improv accessible. Like,
Mhm.
he makes people feel like they can do this thing, you know?
Well, I think too, like there wasn't really a comedy scene until recently, and I'm wondering if, there's improv groups and now there's been some comedy classes at your
Yes, Jill Salmon has been
yeah,
teaching you
I
did that
did one.
too, didn't you?
I did
Yeah.
one of those too. Yeah,
Very
scariest moment of my life when I had to
right?
get up on stage. I literally could not feel my arms. But
I
anyway,
Sean took it too, and he said it is the most scared he has ever been as a
yeah,
performer before he did that,
because
and
you're
he
by
said,
yourself,
"Yeah." And it's
all by
not you have no
yourself.
character, there's
Nobody
no
else
music.
there with you, it's just you. But anyway, it was fabulous, I gotta say. Everything I've done at Solo Chicken Productions has been so
Thank you.
interesting, so fun, again, welcoming, accessible. I mean, I'm not an artist, but you go there, you get to feel like one for however many weeks it goes, it's fun.
Well, but that's what we want. We want people to know that they
Yeah.
are artists, and I'm glad you feel that it's accessible. That's
Yes.
something like we've been working really hard to make that a core tenet of our
Yeah,
company,
awesome.
accessibility, wanting I think you did our, it was called with the dance class with Raul, right? I mean, that's just a magical
That was magical. I don't know what other word to say about that, but it was so special. Um that was really, and it was
It
everybody that was there and him and just the space to even just be able to do that, was great. Thank you for that, because
oh,
honestly, that's one of the special moments in my life, believe it or not. So
oh,
doing
that
that,
makes me so happy.
yeah, like really fun and just I don't know.
I
Yeah, that's
I
great.
think so we've been on this accessibility journey, I would call it, like, in a focused way, because it's always been a part of my work because of community arts. Like,
Mhm.
community arts and accessibility, like, they need
Mm,
to go hand in hand, but the last, like, 4 years, I sort of said, like, "Okay, so we're doing accessibility in certain parts of our company, but we're not doing it everywhere. So what if we let what's happening with the Spirit Project or what happens in other community arts projects, what if we let that influence everything we do, all of
mhm,
our classes, all of our administrative work, all of our
mhm,
policies, all of our" so we've really had a strong focus, and we've decided to make it like it's part of our mission. And I think that it makes everything it sounds Pollyanna, and I know people are like, "Oh, well, whatever. What does that even mean?" But like it like creating access, make like working towards access
mhm.
does make everything better. You
Right.
know? I can't help but think that dance class, it's because it was, we were like intentionally creating an accessible space where folks like, Sue Hill, Sue coming and being in that class, it's like, so, okay, so it's great that we've created space
Mhm,
where
mhm,
Sue is welcome and can enjoy themselves freely and fully,
mhm,
but Sue's presence in the space gives permission to everyone else to really come as they are, throw away
mhm.
we have it's so hard, like dancing, right? Dancing is I'm not a
Yeah,
dancer.
I
You
know.
come with all these preconceived notions about what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to look, and we have the voices in our head telling me like,
Mhm,
"Should
mhm,
I
mhm,
be here? Am I good?" And
mhm.
I really feel like an intentional access can help to create spaces where people feel more free to really just be and do and
Mhm.
explore fully,
It's true. So I really do really thank you for creating those spaces, because it is really important and it is community and bringing people together, you
Ah,
know?
thank
So
you.
honestly, thank you for that.
Well, I gotta say too, Raul is a magical
He's pretty
person.
magical, but
Yeah.
you know.
We just happened so Raul got in touch with us when we were doing We Are Luminous, the Spirit Project show,
Okay.
and, he and his wife had immigrated from Spain, and
That's where my
he
fan
just
comes
called
from,
us up
Spain.
and said, "Hey, I'd really like to come meet you." So we were doing the show in Sackville, and it was,
Mm.
I know we keep saying magical. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, so much magic, blah, blah, blah."
Well, that's
But it was magical. I
gotta
don't know what
have
other word to use. Sorry, people, if you don't
it's
like it,
okay. No.
go watch something else.
Yeah.
It was a magical day. It was a summer day. It was like warm, the perfect, like not too
Mm.
hot, like a
Mhm,
late
mhm.
summer, like
Yeah.
everything, like the
It was
cicadas. There are no
it was
cicadas in
magical.
Sac,
No,
but
it's
it
okay.
was
That's
magical. It was
alright. It was
beautiful. And we
magical.
were performing in this barn in the middle of the day, and it had this big veranda wrapping around. And so we did the show. The show was so well received. We had so much fun. And then we had a big part of the show was that we would have a feast afterwards and invite
Mm,
audience members to eat with us. So we were all on this veranda, and Raul then introduced himself, and he was
okay.
with his beautiful wife and brand new
Mm,
beautiful baby. And they're Spanish, they're from Spain, so they've got the extra glow, just
right.
being beautiful
The
Spanishness.
magical
Yeah,
Spanish flow.
yeah, exactly. So that's when we met him, and it turns out that Raul in Spain, like, Raul is a contemporary dance artist
Mhm.
and worked for an inclusive dance company in Spain.
Imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was just this kind of like, there's literally no one else in the province who
Right.
has done this work, and then we just meet this person
Person.
who's just made this big, huge leap to move with his
Right.
family.
Right here.
So, yeah, it's been a really nice match for us to
Yeah. So he's going to
get
do more with you guys? Is he going to do
Mhm.
more? Okay,
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
absolutely.
that was
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, Lisa, this has been a magical conversation.
Right? It's magical. It's magical.
Is there anything else you want to let us know before I think we're kind
Oh,
of,
well,
yeah.
Fruit Machine. Have
Okay.
have
Yes.
you seen Fruit
I
Machine
haven't,
before?
but no.
So, uh, quite different from Spirit Project. Fruit
Okay.
Machine, created by Alex Rioux,
Oh,
who
yes.
you know
I know
Alex.
Alex.
They started working on this piece with us in 2017. It was a long process, and it's about the purge of LGBT members of the military, civil service, and
Mm,
RCMP. So extremely, dark subject matter,
mhm.
really like a hidden part of Canadian history. Has worked on the show for many, many years. And in 2023, we got a chance to really take it to the next level with an assembled kind of an all-star Atlantic Canadian tech team, projections by Anna Shepard, music by Stuart Leger, and we took it on tour in 2023 around New Brunswick, and we are going on an Atlantic tour starting at the
Amazing.
end of April. So we have one show in Fredericton, and I would love for people to come and see the show again. And special note is that Didoiron, who is a purge survivor, activist, photojournalist, is coming on tour with us and is going to do a personal introduction to their experience with the purge and to the show.
Amazing.
And we're going to have a commemorative event right before the show in
Mhm.
Fredericton, where purge survivors are invited to come. We'll have an exhibition from the Queer Heritage Initiative and some speeches. And St. Thomas
Wow.
University is actually sponsoring the event. So there'll be some nibbles, and it's going to
Okay.
be a really, I think, a beautiful way to commemorate the purge and honor purge survivors and their stories. And I have to say, it's a gorgeous piece of theater.
So
It's
what's the date for that one? And
That
I'll
is
get that.
Tuesday, April 29th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to put some links and stuff
Yeah, you'll
after this.
you'll see some
Yeah.
Jean-Michel Cliche will be sending out
I
the
send
the
it out the stuff.
Instagrammers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, Lisa. So there's a couple questions I'm going to ask you that I
Oh,
ask
please.
everybody that I have on the show.
Okay.
Sometimes I tell you in the beginning, I forgot, so it's
It's
okay. We're
okay. I
just going to
like
come at
fresh
you
questions.
cold.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, and you probably already answered the first one, but what makes you feel most alive?
Oh, that's a well, I love this has nothing to do with theater,
Okay,
but I
cool.
really I love traveling,
Mm,
and I love now traveling with my family.
mm.
And I'll say that those have been some of the highlights of my life.
To travel with
Just
your
get
yeah,
Yeah, and now that my kids
beautiful.
are older, we've
Mm,
we've done some really amazing things together, and just being with my kids in amazing places,
I love
seeing
that.
things and getting to experience the world
Together.
together. So yes, I love traveling.
Okay, I love that. Okay, and one other question.
Okay.
So in the line with the title of the podcast, The Soul's Kitchen, what's your ingredient for your life? It doesn't have to be a food ingredient, but it can be if there's something that stands out. But what's your
First thing is like garlic. I'm
garlic?
like
Well, yes. Well, it could be that, but
everything except for
yeah.
smoothies. I don't put garlic in
Okay.
smoothies.
Okay.
An ingredient for life. Again, people are going to be like, Pollyanna, just stop with the
No.
platitudes. But I've been thinking, shut, shut up.
Oh,
I think a
oh.
lot about gratitude, and
Love
that when I'm struggling or feeling anxious or
mhm.
depressed or exhausted or
All those
perimenopausing
mhm.
out of control, that I do, or even like, fighting with QuickBooks and feeling sorry for myself. I do touch in with gratitude sometimes.
Okay.
It's been a
It
good
does help.
ingredient for me
Yes.
to be
Oh, that's an
grateful.
amazing ingredient. I love it.
Yeah,
Well, I am
gratitude and garlic. How about that
gratitude
together?
well, the G
Yeah, the
family.
G's, double
Yeah.
G.
Well, I'm super grateful that you agreed to talk to me today and be on the show, and anyway, thank you
That
so
was
much.
really fun. That was
Awesome, it was
yeah.
fun.
Turns
So
out I
thank
can really chat.
I love it. I think I've picked the right people. No. Oh, you're good. It was
Yeah,
magical,
you
what
should
a
talk
say.
to Strike, I tell you.
I'm gonna
And
talk to Strike.
and
Uh,
Kylie, you should talk to Kylie
I've got a list
Fox.
of people I've been reaching out. You're episode 21, so I've you're
Oh,
so
okay.
we're getting there.
That's
We're
very
gonna get
cool.
everybody.
Oh, you know who else you should talk
Got a
to?
little
Do you
who?
know Saw? Do you know Saw Andrew? Mhm.
No.
I'm gonna introduce
Okay.
you to Saw. Saw is an
Okay.
amazing person who, has, like, an incredible life story, uh, overcoming a
Okay.
great deal of adversity to get to Canada and
Oh,
is,
okay.
like, just kicking butt and making change, I would say.
Okay. Well, let's end this here. Just stay on with me for 2 seconds, and I'm gonna get some more information from you, and then we'll, so we're gonna wrap this one up, all right? Are you there, Lise? You're froze on me. Uh-oh. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. You got a nice smile on your face.